This morning, the news is still setting in for a handful of DPS schools slated now for closure. Yesterday, Emergency Manager Roy Roberts announced 9 schools will be closed. 4 others will be turned into charters, and 7 outdated schools will be consolidated into 4 brand new buildings. The plan will take effect at the end of this school year. And joining us now to tell us more about the reorganization plan is the man himself, DPS Emergency Manager Roy Roberts. Thanks so much for getting up and coming in this morning.
Good to be with you.
Tell us why it's so important that you take these steps right now.
It's important because we want to give parents and students a chance to plan their school year life. We are actually 4 months ahead of what we've been in prior years, and that's caused a lot of problems for us. When people talk about having a teacher in front of every student, it takes a tremendous amount of planning, and that's why we're doing it. And we're going to all the schools, telling the schools directly exactly what the plans are.
We've seen so much downsizing or right-sizing in the automotive industry, they call it. Is that what you're doing to the schools? You have room for 100,000 students.
We have room for 110,000 students, and we have 69,000 students. If we continue to keep that excess capacity, it's just money that we're throwing away on facility costs. You think about all the utilities that we have to pay for. That's wasting money that you can't use to educate children. You can't use to pay teachers. We have to get that out of our system. We spend $53 million a year on interest and payments for old deficit. We've got to right-size this community. And by the way, the word right-sizing, I invented 22 years ago right in front of the GM building.
I was going to say, you have done so much work with General Motors in the past and seen some of these things happen. This only saves, though, like $7 million. There's still going to have to be more cuts made.
There will be going forward. We want to be very thoughtful about how we do that. We want to get a lot of community involvement, but ultimately, we have to make the call. I had a state representative say to me, "I don't want you to close my school." And I said to that state representative, "Tell me the school you think I should close instead of your school. And then go with me to stand in front of that body and tell them you want to close that school." This is tough work. Everybody you know is in love with their school, even if it's deficient. If they're not doing the job, they've developed relationships. They like their principals. They know the teachers. So it's a tough call, but we must make that call. If we don't, we're being irresponsible.
A lot of parents are very concerned, though, that especially elementary school kids will have to go so far to school that they will lose their neighborhood school. What would you say to them this morning?
It's very difficult to have a neighborhood school anymore. This city is too large, and as we close down schools, it's going to be much more difficult for us to have neighborhood schools as we've known them historically. We have 130 schools right now, and so I'm closing 9 and chartering 4. If you press me to the wall, I'd probably tell you that I should have closed 25. Because that's the excess capacity we have. We're going to transport all students to school if they live more than 6 cents per mile away from school. We're going to provide help. But we don't take care of kindergartners and first graders. So it will be a degree of discomfort for some people. But nothing is more important than your discomfort to educate your children. We've got to make the connection between academic success and success in life. So that's where we are. That's where we are as a city. We're going through something that no city has ever gone through before. No state have ever gone through it before. We lost over 100,000 students in less than 10 years in Detroit public school system because we know the auto industry settled this community, and when they went broke, they desettled the community. And people who left looking for jobs in other parts of the world love their kids. They took their kids with them. So it's really a very difficult challenge for all of us, but we're going to work our way through it. We're going to simply do the right thing to make sure we get the best education possible for all the students that are left behind.
Well, thank you so much, Roy Roberts, for joining us this morning. Obviously, a huge role that you've taken on, and this will be difficult, but hopefully the community can weather this storm as well.
I hope so. It's the most important job I've ever had.
Well, thank you, Mr. Roberts, for joining us. Vic?
Thank you.